Yep.
Cool.
Ready when you are, Mark.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So that's a photo of me. Look, I've got to lose some weight, everybody. But my name's Mark Norrick, and I'm the founder and company director of Life's an Adventure. And this photo was taken on the Kunisaki Spiritual Walk, which was absolutely amazing. So I hope you're going to love today's webinar, which is about the area in Kyushu. So yeah, this is just a little bit about Life's an Adventure. We're throughout the world. Where you've probably walked with us before in Australia, but now we're in Europe, UK, Japan. We've got over 10 tours in Japan, and then Central America, Asia. Um, yeah, lots of places. So it's very, very cool. There's just some photos there. There's a photo of me and my beautiful wife. So she's the general manager. Um, I'm the ideas guy. She's the put it together girl. We're proud recipients of 23 awards, even the Australian Adventure Tourism Award of Australia. So we're pretty proud of that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So there's
Absolutely.
just some of the things that we pride ourselves on. We love creating tours that are boutique focused with wow amazings. There's always got to be a wow amazing in the tour. But what I love about Japan is that it has just such great um, cultural differences, and there's something going on every day, whether it's going to an onsen, the food, the doing going to a sake brewery, or doing some washi, making washi paper. There's always something to do, and Japan is just, I think it is no other place in the world like it, and I think it's an amazing place. As you can see, our logo is Life's an Adventure, but walking is only part of the adventure. So we believe that the tour that we create is the walk is really important, and you get to see a different part of the world, but it's what you do along the way, the places you stay, the activities, and the people you meet is what's more important. I'm very, very lucky today. We've got one of the experts of Fukuoka and the Kyushu Island area, and this is Rebecca George, and she's the local representative in Australia for Oita, Japan. So welcome aboard,
Oh,
Rebecca.
thanks, Mark. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me today. So my job, I'm very, very lucky, is to promote Oita Prefecture to Australians. So their government have said we want more Australians to come and experience our region and our culture, our destination. And so that they've employed my company. And so my job is primarily working with tour operators such as Mark and helping him create itineraries, but it's also just raising awareness of what's so special about this region so that you can go and experience it firsthand. And these are just some of the pictures of me in Oita Prefecture.
Yeah, I love the one with the hot springs cooking.
Yeah, so that's an experience that your group, well, everybody here online, you'll be able to experience that in Beppu as well. It's included in Mark's
Cool.
tour. So I love the Kunisaki, but I'm not going to talk too much about it other than to say these two images that you can see in the picture. So the red is during autumn, of course, and the green is the exact same location in summer. You can see that rock bridge, and
Wow.
it's just in autumn, you have these incredible 360-degree views of these
Mm,
beautiful colors wherever you look. And so to me, the seasons is what's so special about this region.
mm.
Also, the hot springs. There are over 5,000 hot springs in Oita Prefecture, and I'll tell you more about that in a minute. And then, as a whole, it's just a far less touristy part of Japan. So, we are seeing daily now just how over touristy some of the parts are of Japan, such as Kyoto. And then This is has a totally different feel to it. So that's again what I love. If you are going dressed up in kimono, you don't have hundreds of other people trying to get that exact same photo. And in Beppu, there's even a bamboo grove where we did a live cross the other day and there were no other tourists in the background. So that was also what makes it so special. But more on that later. Over to you, Mark.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I just thanks for that, Rebecca. Just as an overview of all the tools that we have in Japan, as you can see, we're going to today talk about the area which is Kyushu, and it's got Kunisaki Spiritual Trail with a big dot there at the bottom. But we do the Kumano Kodo, the Nakasendo Way, which is basically Tokyo to Kyoto, Mount Fuji, the Izu Peninsula, which is below Tokyo, Michinoku. So we've got over 10 tours in Japan, but we're just talking about the Kunisaki, Kyushu, Beppu area down the bottom. I actually did the Kunisaki Spiritual Tour, I think a year and a half ago now, or year and a half ago. And I was so, that's a photo of me with the group there, but it was probably one of the best tours I've ever done in the whole wide world. And I know that's a big claim, but it just tick, 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 tick. It just has everything. Like Rebecca just said, we did not see one tourist when we were there. And the walk was just amazing. The accommodation was incredible, and all the activities. I just went, my goodness, it's just we just felt so special, and all the activities that we work with the local tourism felt very authentic and. Yeah, they were beautiful. So it was a great tour. I'm really excited to share this tour with you. Um, yeah, as you can see here, the landscape in that first photo is quite amazing. It's a bit like going to Cappadocia. There's lots of the Oita area where the spiritual trail is very quite challenging in places. But as you know, with Life's an Adventure, we have flexible walking options. So there's easy and hard days. But it's very mountainous up and down, but very beautiful walking. And there was 4 days of walking the spiritual trail, which I'll get into. There's beautiful hot springs. There's in Oita, you can see on that last slide. It's Beppu is quite famous for the hot springs and the cooking, so we'll do some of that as well. So what we've done with Rebecca is create basically 3 tours. So that first tour I just quickly talked about, the Kunisaki Spiritual Trail, is a 8-day experience. But we've also got a sacred Kyushu, which you can do together, and that will make a 13-day tour. So you've got an 8-day and a 5-day. You can do them separately, or you could do the whole lot in 13 days. But what I love is that the Kunisaki sort of a go, go, go sort of walk, but then the next 5 days is a little bit more easier, a bit more relaxing, and it's a bit more immersive in the culture and hot springs and things like that. So that's a basic overview of what we're trying to achieve here with the 2 different tours. This is basically where you go, and this is how the tour runs for the 8-day. So basically, you fly into Fukuoka. You can either go to. I think Rebecca will explain this, but when I flew there, I flew via Korea. There's lots of flights. There's no direct to Fukuoka from Sydney that I'm aware of. Maybe Brisbane has one. No. They're all indirect, but I flew via Korea, which was really cool, and then went into Fukuoka. But there's lots of different ways you can get there. You can catch a bullet train from, Tokyo or Osaka. But yeah, there's lots of different ways to get there, and we can talk about that later. But we basically start in Fukuoka, and then we go. We spend 4 nights in Yamaga. See the number 4 there, which is a really beautiful accommodation, hot springs accommodation. We do lots of walks in the which is called the Kunisaki Spiritual Trail. We If you did the whole thing, it's about a 7 day, 8 day walk, but we just do the highlights and we just pick the 4 different walks. We'll go into that later. Then we go to Himashima Island, which is a really good add-on. It's like going back 30 years in time. They're all drying seaweed on the road, and it's really quite cool. We'll go into that a little bit later, and then we finish off with an outstanding hotel in Beppu in the hills. So that's just a bit of a, and then we go back to Fukuoka. Yeah, this is going into a little bit more detail of the spiritual. We do a pre-night. We stay at the Royal Park Hotel, and we meet the guides at 5 o'clock. But then if you go to Fukuoka, you've got to go to some of the nightlife along here, and it's quite outstanding, very culturally rich. It's called the is it
Yatai?
Yatai night tour?
Yatai. Oh, it's amazing food. Yes.
Yeah, really great food. Yeah, incredible. So we sit at one of these little stalls, and then you order food, and you might taste 5, 6, 7 different little samples of food, a bit like a finger food, or in Spain going to a tapas bar, that kind of experience, but very, very cool. We love the Park Royal, and it's a great way to start. Next day, yeah, we start our tour. We don't exactly walk too much. It's only 5 Ks this day, but the walk that we do to Rakanji Temple is just outstanding, and that's one photo. They close the temple to us, and it's only for us. And so we had a guided tour with the priestess, and she was quite amazing, and she guided us through a sort of a learning process and got us to write down 3 things that we wanted to achieve. And it was really quite amazing how the temple was set up, quite enlightening. And then this is, one of, I think there's over 100 Buddhas there, all in different poses. So, quite an incredible, you're not allowed to take too many photos of this temple, so we don't have other photos, but it was quite an amazing way to start off the tour. Then we actually, in the afternoon, went to a rice terrace, and that was run by the local community. And that was just so rich and amazing, as you can see. This is a bit of a lost culture. I'm really proud that we actually support these sort of initiatives, because the locals there are really quite worried about losing this culture, and so they're really proud to show us their rice terraces, how they keep them and how they work them. And we did a little cooking class, which was so cute, with all the oldies, and made all our goodies for the week. Our last photo there, we were just spoilt rotten. We had a sushi cooking class. We had a, little, not a cooking class, but a demonstration of how to chop the sushi. And there's the chef there, and that's entree, believe it or not. So we had 2 platters of that, and then ate. The other last photo is the onsen in Yamaga. That's Kaizen no Saito. So that's where we stay for 4 nights. And as you can see, it's a proper onsen. You can see the residue of the sulfur springs there, which is, imagine every day we're going to walk 5 to 10 kilometers, and then we hop in these beautiful hot springs baths, and all those pains and groans that you have during the day, they're all gone in the onsen. So it's just beautiful. There's a woman's and a men's onsen there. Let's go to the next one. This is the start. On day 3, we actually walk the section, start walking. In total, we have 12 kilometres. We can make this easier, but it was pretty level walking. But as you can see, the Kimono Magabitsu, that was quite amazing. They think it's about a 100-year-old Buddha that's been carved into the rock there. And I've got a video of our guide singing a song. And our Japanese guide is the guide that takes all the Buddhist monks every 4 years on a spiritual walk through the Kunisaki area. And he sang this song there, and it just took my breath away. It was just so beautiful, the song. And then having it there, it just felt so spiritual and beautiful. Anyway, one of many things that we do. We walk to the Fukuoka Temple, which is there in autumn, which is really beautiful. And then, believe it or not, the last photo there is a private onsen. So not only do you have the public baths, but every room does have its own private onsen. So you can have a dip later on in your private onsen. I didn't use mine. I prefer the public baths.
But they're often bigger, aren't they? And they might have pebbles down the bottom and nicer
Yeah,
views rather than the smaller ones. I agree with you.
yeah.
I tend to use the public onsen.
Yeah, they're really cool. Day 4 is quite a hard walk. There's either an 8 kilometre or a 13 kilometre option. That walk in the afternoon, if you're scared of heights, as you can see, was quite scary for people. And I think probably 50% opt out of the extra walk. But if you're into the adventure, it is more or less 3 to 4 Ks of walking with chains. As you can see, that third photo, the guy up the top of the hill is walking with a chain. So if you're scared or you're not fit enough, no problem. There, we'll amend that walk. But if people want to have the challenge, yeah, it's available there. So just to let you know, there's easy and hard sections every day. And we pride ourselves on flexible walking options. But yeah, I just don't want to take away this harder one because everybody that did do the harder section just loved it. It was
So
incredible.
beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
really
beautiful.
incredible, beautiful, great experience. As you can see, Japan is it's just an incredible place. Everywhere you go, there's monuments, there's things on top of mountains, and you go, how did they bring this here? They walked it up. They're just so passionate about their religion, their culture. It's just incredible, and that's what I love about Japan. In walking in Japan, is that it just every step, there's every turn, there's some beautiful shrine or monument or statue, and there's a statue with the little Buddha there that I'm next to. Um, Here's some of the temples and another photo there of Yagama Kaizen no Saito. I personally picked this accommodation. There's not much accommodation in this area. It's actually quite remote. So it's a 4-star accommodation. I think it's amazing. It's not 5-star, but it's very boutique. It's very cute. We were the first Westerners to ever stay at this hotel. So we were spoilt rotten with cooking, sushi and cooking demonstrations
And
every
Matt, is
day.
this where you spend 4 nights?
Yes.
So this
Yeah.
is nice. You're not having to pack and unpack all the time. You unpack
Yeah,
once and
it's
then just
great.
do day trips. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Rebecca. Yeah. Day 5, we had a bit of rain that day, as you can see. But the walks every day was so different. I was amazed, we were walking through countrysides one day and then walking through, you can see the group photo there of the geological sort of like Cappadocia, but there's lots of little, I don't know, they're called vents. volcanic vents that are hardened rock and all the ash had gone. But that's a little cave with a beautiful outlook, and that's a really famous photo. It was just so cool, so amazing. As you can see there on the bottom to the left, there's a photo there, and just you walk around a corner, and there's just that is a monument to every priest um, that had ever walked here and had been in charge. So, this is a walk that's been going on for centuries and centuries, probably, I think it's about 1100 years, and, hundreds of people have been there over the time, and that just represents all those people that went. There's another photo of our accommodation. So beautiful, beautiful spot. Day 6 is our last day on the Kunisaki. And it's a beautiful walk it's about 9 k's. So you can see all the different, it walks from a temple to a temple, Iwatuji Temple. And as you can see, we do a fire ceremony, which is a beautiful way to finish the Kunisaki walk, with a fire ceremony done by the Buddhist monk who gives every one of us a blessing. And we all need a bit of a blessing at the moment with the world so far. But yeah, it was a really beautiful way to end the Kunisaki experience. So there it is there. We then travel over to, and really the photos here just don't do it justice. There's just so many photos of beautiful sites and places and temples and meeting people. I haven't covered every single thing that we do. I think there was you met a monk the day before. There's meeting farmers, along the way that roast the mushrooms, and you get a bandana. And we went to, oh my goodness, we also went to a sake festival. So it was just action packed and lots of things to see and do, and felt really, really special because, yeah, there was no tourists there. Yeah, I loved it. Anyway, we move out of, oh, sorry, go back one. Um, we go off the Oita Peninsula, and there's a photo there of Yachio Kan, which is actually on Himashima. So this is the day, on day 6, we actually transfer. At the end of Oita, there's an island called Himashima, and you can see there, believe it or not, I'm cuddling a guy there who, his name's John, and he has the Aussie Cafe. So you imagine he's from Brisbane. He's the only gaijin on the island, and he has an Aussie cafe, and he does the best cafe, flat white, and he's just so cool. Believe it or not, this guy used to train Ian Thorpe. And so he was Ian Thorpe's coach. And yeah, he's married a Japanese girl that comes from Himashima, and he started a new life on Himashima. And he gives all the kids swimming lessons. So that was really cool to go there. And we go there, get a coffee, guaranteed. Okay, let's go to the next day. Himashima is a bit like traveling back in time 30 years. I was just so blown away. It's they're still practicing, sort of drying the seaweed on the footpaths, and yeah, it's really quite cool. There's a beautiful walk there up the mountain, and we see one of the shrines there. We also then get involved in a cooking class, which was really quite cute, interacting with all the locals. Yeah, but that's how big Himashima Island is. There's a photo there. So that's really cool. We get off the island, and then we head back to Beppu. And there's our accommodation there, which is the Galleria Midao. Yeah, so we head back into Beppu, which is, really quite beautiful. It's a bit like going to Rotorua. There's smoke coming up everywhere, or in from the footpaths and places, and we have a beautiful night, and we celebrate our 8-day tour. We go to the next day. Yeah, we finish off with going to Kitsuki Castle and a tea ceremony. So we do. It's a must-do sort of place. Yeah, it's only a easy walk that day, but yeah, it's really quite cool walking around the Kitsuki Castle. We did some sake tasting, so which is really cool, and then we ended off. So yeah, that's really good fun. I think we've got some miso. We went to a miso paste shop as well, and we have a beautiful restaurant last meal and end our tour. So this is where, if you wanted just to do the 8-day, you would go back to Fukuoka, or we've added another 13. This could be a 13-day with a 5-day add-on. And so I might hand over to Rebecca, who's the expert on adding this extra day. Is that okay, Rebecca?
Absolutely, Mark. Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
cool. Thank you. You're sick of hearing from me.
So this tour starts in Beppu, and you can add it as an extension to the tour that Mark just spoke about, or you can do this tour at any time as a standalone. And it starts in Beppu, goes through Yufuin, and ends in Fukuoka. Because you can do it as a standalone at a different time, just want to take you through how to get to Beppu, the different methods. So the easiest way is via air, and if you're flying with JAL or ANA, there are 14 flights a day from Tokyo into Oita Airport, and they include domestic flights with international flights because they want people to get out of the big cities. So that's a little tip if you're booking flights with them, or there's lots of other air access as well. And the black line that you can see on that map, that's the bullet train, and that goes all the way down the west coast of Kyushu. And then if you are coming from Hiroshima, for example, and you're getting to Beppu, you get off at the first stop, and then just go overland to the next slide, Daisy, please. And then this is zooming into Oita Prefecture here, and you would get off at Kokura Station and then take that black and white line across the top and then into Beppu. Or if you're in Fukuoka already, then there's a tourist train that takes you to Beppu as well. And on this map, you can also see where the airport is. So it's about 45 minutes from Beppu, but there is a bus that meets every single flight. So it's really easy to get into the city to start the tour. And then the next slide, if you enjoy cruising, this vessel is called the Sunflower Ferry. It was a new vessel introduced 2 years ago, and it sails every night from Osaka to Beppu, and it leaves in the evening, and then you arrive into the heart of Beppu early the next day. So it's your transport, it's an experience, and it's your accommodation rolled into one really nice experience. So if you are in Osaka
Mm.
and you're looking to start Mark's tour, I would definitely recommend taking the
Yeah,
ferry.
it's pretty cheap as well, isn't it?
There's 12 different types. So
Yeah,
there's like a shared bunk, almost like in a
right.
dorm room, right through to beautiful high-end suites. So it starts
Yeah,
from about $120 Australian per person. And so yes, definitely it starts quite
yeah.
reasonably.
It's got an onsen on board as well, hasn't
Of
it?
course, yeah, because you're coming into
Yeah.
into Oita Prefecture. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
And so the key features of this region, and Mark spoke about some of them before, but just to reiterate where Oita is, and it's the number one hot spring destination in Japan. And Mark said already, it's what he loves most about. It's one of my highlights as well. So the whole region has 5,000 hot springs, and the city of Beppu alone has 2,500. So if you're a little bit nervous about getting naked in front of others, because in the onsens you do, they're gender segregated, so you'll have male and female, but you have to be completely naked. Wash yourself and then just lower yourself nice and gently into this beautiful warm water. My number one tip is if you're nervous, just do it early in the morning or late at night when you think nobody else is there. Because if someone does come in, then you would think, oh, what was I worried about? It's not that bad after all. And if you can get that out of the way early, for the rest of your trip, you can really enjoy these hot spring baths.
Yeah.
Or if
There
you're,
is private onsens as well
I was
on
going
our
to say, if
first
you're
tour.
too
Yeah.
nervous, then absolutely, there's lots of private onsen as
Yeah.
well. Nature, absolutely beautiful. This whole area, all the top of Kyushu, these volcanic mountain ranges, and they're so incredibly beautiful. Culture, so the next tour focuses a lot on cultural experiences in Beppu. It's famous for bamboo craft. So when you're doing guided tours, you'll learn all about that. Pottery as well, and the cuisine. So it's a really rich agricultural area, and seafood, of course, is amazing. But they also have a lot of Wagyu beef and shiitake mushrooms. They produce the majority of Japan's shiitake mushrooms. And then there's a little argument between Fukuoka, which is the region next door, and Oita over who consumes more chicken. So if you think that you're worried about having a seafood overload, there's a lot of really amazing chicken dishes in Oita, and one of them is like a tempura chicken, and each little restaurant has their own flavors. So I would definitely recommend trying that. And this is Beppu. So this is where you're going to start your tour, or if you don't do this extension, you'll absolutely experience this city. And I say it's like sandwiched between the inland sea and these mountain ranges. And then towards the back is where you have this hot spring steam that's just rising up day and night. And like I said, a bit like Rotorua, but you don't have that smell. It doesn't have that strong sulfur smell. And that highest mountain in the background is the mountain and you're going to go up one of the days on this tour. So
Yufu.
in Beppu, there's two main regions. So one is the downtown area with the JR station, and the other is the Kanawa. And if you're staying in Galleria, which Mark said before, that's the accommodation at the end of the other tour. It's this really beautiful high-end hotel, and it's almost like an art gallery inside. And then this tour actually starts in the Kanawa region, which offers a different but equally incredible experience. It's a beautiful hotel called Fijiya. It's a more of a ryokan style accommodation that has just been renovated and reopened. And all around, as you're walking around the streets, you just have this hot spring steam that's bellowing up. And then on this map down the bottom, you can also see where is the ropeway or where you're climbing the mountain. So it's a pretty compact city, easy to get around, but just some really amazing experiences. And then hot springs that we spoke about before, so onsen as they're called in Japanese. There are a lot of private onsens. There's day spas in addition to the accommodation that has private onsen. And there's also sand baths or steam baths and even mud baths if you're a little bit more adventurous. So you might have a little bit of time, or if you are arriving earlier, you might want to spend a couple of days extra in Beppu to really enjoy all the different onsen because you would have spent a long time walking, and if you, this is such a nice reward at the end of a day was walking. And if you have tattoos, there are some region in Japan where the onsen aren't tattoo friendly, but a lot of them in Beppu are. So there'll definitely be a lot of baths where you can use the public onsen. And then, of course, private onsen are always tattoo friendly because nobody's going to see you naked anyway. And then in terms of Beppu, so the first day that you arrive in Beppu, you are going to do a walking tour, and then the tour starts in the evening, and then you have dinner in the Kanawa district. So that's where you have this onsen steam that's just rising up. And then the next day, or one of the days, you're going to do a walking tour. And it's going to include the Beppu Hills. And the two images that you can see with the blue and the red hill are these steaming hot pools that are naturally occurring. And the blue one, for example, is 200 meters deep. And you can hear them before you get there. It's just this loud roaring of the steam. And it's just really incredible. I don't know anywhere else in the world that has something just so beautiful and mesmerizing just to look at. And this at the same facility, there's also foot baths. So my number one tip for when you're traveling in Oita Prefecture is to always carry a little face wash or a hand towel because there's lots of foot baths everywhere. So you can sit for half an hour and just rest your feet and then dry them off nice and easily. For lunch, they're using hot spring steam. So you have these plates and then you lower them into the steam. And you may remember that was what I was doing, that very first image that I had. And then the steam infuses the food and it cooks it. And that's just a unique experience that you have to do when you're in
Very
Beppu.
healthy.
Super healthy, absolutely,
Mm.
yes. And then that night, you're actually doing a walking tour with a company called Glide Japan. And so this company has guided over 500 Australians, and they know exactly what Australians are looking for, that local connection, inside knowledge, and just learning all about the onsen culture in Japan. But it starts with some sake tasting, and then you visit a couple of different izakayas or different like restaurants, bars, and try all some local dishes. So might be trying some different food, but I'm sure you'll absolutely love it. And then the next day, we're going down to a place called Taketa. And this is an incredible day trip. Now, if you were traveling by yourself, you would only be able to do it with a private guide. So public transport doesn't get you there, which is why it's so great that Mark has included this because it enables you to enjoy this experience. The first place you stop is Nagayu Onsen, and this has carbonated hot springs. So when you lower your hand into the water, it has all these little bubbles all over it. And it's a little bit cooler than a normal hot spring because otherwise the bubbles would die if it was hotter. But it's just really nice and something different. And that's the onsen there. That's the building, the black and white building, which I feel more is more like something from the Netherlands than something from Japan.
Yeah.
And then you go to a winery, and I live in Mudgee, so I'm a bit of a wine snob, but the wine there is really nice. So I would definitely encourage you to try a few different wines, particularly the red. I really enjoyed that. And right next door is a wood fire pizzeria. So if you're worried about a little seafood overload, then you can have pizza for lunch on this day. Then the next experience is a taiko drumming performance. And this group is called Drum Tao, and they're actually coming out to Australia next month. And they're performing in about 20 different venues all over the east coast of Australia. Now, their home is in Taketa, and they built this incredible outdoor amphitheatre which has views over Mount Aso. And that is actually my image there. And it was on this day that we had this really low cloud. It was a very moody day, and we just had goosebumps. It was absolutely an incredible performance. And we've got a quick video to show you what it's like, but it's just such a highlight for me. I'll just talk through it because I can't hear the sound, but this is just in it's in the Highlands and then it's outdoors. They have an area, a gallery, and then the performers are on this stage and you're sitting at the back looking over Mount Aso. And then at the end you come in and you can have a couple of drinks from the bar and it's the performers that actually serve you drinks. You can get to chat with them. So that's a really nice experience.
Yeah,
Then
it's
that
incredible.
oh
Overlooking
yeah.
the national park. Yeah.
Mm. And I feel like if you are on the East Coast, have a look up Drum Tao and look for a performance, but it just won't compare to being out there with those views and so special.
Mm.
The end after that performance, you then drive to Yufuin and we stay in a beautiful ryokan. And so this is a beautiful, it used to be called very tranquil, but word got out how gorgeous it is, and it's actually become more touristy now. Um, onsen town that has these stunning views over Mount Aso, and particularly in autumn. So that's a picture down the bottom right of the just the autumn leaves in this town. So it's really beautiful. It's more about relaxation than hiking, but you can absolutely there's hiking experiences as well. So the day that you arrive, you're just going to have dinner and relax. But the next day, you can actually hike Mount Yufu. And so it's a 4 hour hike. First, you drive to the trailhead where you start the hike. It's a 4 hour hike all return. But if you want, you can do shorter hikes. And I think for your group, Mark, it's a 3 hour hike that we've organized, but it can just be tailored on the day depending on how
Yeah.
active you want to be. And then returning back in the afternoon, having a beautiful lunch, and then just enjoying what this town is all about. And that's pure relaxation, beautiful scenery, and a hot spring bath with views over Mount Aso. So that's a gorgeous day. And then the next day, you're going over across towards Fukuoka, and then you're going to a place called Onsayaki Pottery Village. And this is a tiny little village that produces pottery. And if we could just go to the next slide. Using methods that they have traditional methods from 300 years ago. And so the potter passes the skills down to their sons only. And this is ninth generation. The young gentleman that you can see, he's about 21. That is, well, he was when I took that picture, is taking over the making of this pottery. And it's a tiny little village. Again, it's not somewhere where you can get to easily without being on a tour or having a car. And you start at the top, and there's 9 families, and you just wander in and out of their workshops and watch
Wow.
them making this pottery by hand. And they harvest the clay from the mountains. It's all sustainable. And then they pound the clay using the river from the water. So you can see the big hammers in that image. So when those buckets fill up, they release, and then the clay is pounded. So they have this thud that's just day and night in this town. And then I have a little mug that I bought when I was there, and so I use this every day. So I have a nice memory of Ontayaki Pottery Village every day when I have my morning coffee.
Oh, I
You also
love
stop in,
pottery.
yeah, oh, so do I. You
Yeah.
also stop in Hita, which has this area called Mameda District, and that is very similar to what it was like in the Edo period. So it's very preserved, and it's just a really gorgeous little place to wander around. And then after that, you head back to Fukuoka. So if you're a foodie, some cuisine that is going to excite you in this region. Wagyu beef is amazing. The seafood, absolutely incredible, and shiitake mushrooms, and I mentioned chicken before. Now, something that you'll find all throughout Oita is a fruit called kabosu, and it's a green citrus, almost a little bit like lime or a bit like lemon, but they use it in so many different things. So, like they squeeze fresh kabosu over a fish, or they'll have it in mayonnaises, they'll have it in salad dressings, probably even a chip flavor. So when you're in any souvenir shops, there's lots of different kabosu flavored dressings that you can try and maybe bring back home so you can keep that memory of your time in Oita Prefecture. And that's it. Then you're off to Fukuoka and spending a night there.
Cool. So that's basically the 13 day. What? Yeah, adding the 8 and the 5 together, and yeah, beautiful.
So
Hmm.
you've got that really busy or the really active start where you're doing lots of walks every day, and then the optional whether you want to be really continue to
Hmm.
do the beautiful walks, enjoy the amazing scenery, or take it a bit easier at the finish.
All right. Here's some departure dates that we've got. So we've got 2 dates in October this year still, on the 4th of October and the 30th, and they're both 8 days or the 13 days. And then we've got dates in 27 in March, April. Yeah, well, March being the 31st. With seasons, um, Fukuoka, Kyushu is south of Tokyo. So in Australia, south of Sydney is cold, but it's the opposite here in Japan because we're in the northern hemisphere. So just imagine the weather is actually not too bad in March. is quite good, and the season is longer at the further you go south in Japan. So just think, yeah, the opposite, really, weather-wise. It gets really hot in. So basically, this is true for all of Japan, but really, it's a spring and autumn kind of departure for Japan. But the great thing about Kunisaki is it's yeah, it's a longer season there. So you're you can start earlier in March and you can end later. So, your November is a really good time to travel too.
Even in
Um,
December. So I think the image that I took
yeah,
at the beginning, that was taken on the 2nd of December, and you still had these incredible autumn leaves. But
yeah,
definitely, I don't think I'd be wanting to do it in July or August. Just too humid, isn't it,
yeah.
there? Or all through
But
Japan,
yeah, and
actually.
because we're walking, it's good to do it in the cooler months.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
yeah, um, thank you so much, everybody, for all your questions. Yeah, does anybody have any questions that they might want us to answer, sir? Maybe unmute everybody.
That one muted.
Has anybody got any questions? Um, I do apologise. Usually there is a way you can talk and ask some questions where we've got some technical issues and I don't think we know how to do that. Um,
I think if people unmute themselves, because we heard Mo before, so if anybody has a question, please feel free to mute
okay.
yourself and ask.
Well, also, we'll be following up. Um, is that a question from someone, Helen or Mo or Joan?
Yes, it's Helen. I do have a question.
Oh, cool.
So I've done the Kimono Kodo and Nakasendo way, and I'm just wondering what is it about the Kunisaki that makes it different from those regions and those experiences?
Look, I'll add my. Firstly, those two other walks are beautiful, but the Nakasendo, look, they're beautiful, but this is just a part of Japan that not many people go to. Even Japanese don't get there much. And when I was there, I we did not see
Lost you.
one tourist for the
Are you still
whole.
there?
Yeah, so that would be, and then it just feels a little bit more authentic. Um, I really I really loved the tour because it just had everything. It was tick, 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 great accommodation, great food, felt really special. They went out of their way every night, the accommodation. They wrote us in calligraphy, thank you for staying. And we just felt like rock stars. We just felt so spoiled every day. Little ladies meeting us by the side of the road with lunches each day. It's very, very different. They would come onto the bus and hand everybody their lunch, and it was all, wrapped up in bamboo paper, banana paper wrapping, and it was just so, we felt really spoiled. That at the end of the day, you feel spoiled. I think it's a different part of Japan that nobody sees. Yeah. Anyway, did you want to add anything to that?
So the whole route is a 135-kilometer pilgrimage route, and it was from monks, and the religion was a mixture of Buddhism, Shintoism, and mountain worship. So it's a little bit different
Yeah.
as well. But I feel like when you're walking, there's nobody else around, and it's almost like you're the first people to discover this region, and that's very special itself. And for me, I mean, I haven't done the other walks, but it was just spine tingling, and you've got these towering ancient trees, these gorgeous views everywhere you look, but nobody else except your group. And that
Mm.
is what I thought made it so special.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does someone else have a question? Don't be shy.
Um, Mark, this hasn't really got to do with the tour, but I'm reading about Japan at the moment in a book called Ikigai.
Yeah.
It's the reason why they're so humble, the Japanese. I I don't want to sound pertinent, but I think you'd really, really get a lot out of this book.
Yeah. Okay.
It's called Finding Your Ikigai. I'll
Yeah.
spell it.
Your reason for being, hey? I've actually got it up on
Yeah,
my phone.
the reason for being, that's it. And
Yeah.
it's only in recent years that Japan apparently has become touristy, but they don't want to spoil it like Asia.
Mm.
They want to really keep their culture alive. Yeah. So this
Yeah.
is why I'm really interested in doing one of your tours,
Oh, thank
actually.
you. I love that.
Mm,
I'm just reading a little, AI thing on it, and it looks really, really cool. Yeah,
yeah.
it's what gets me excited and why I've got a business called Life's an Adventure because, it's it's what gets me up and excited. And yeah, I'm really proud of this tour because it's in the world. This is one of the best tours that we've ever tried to get together that just ticked all the boxes with culture. Yeah, they're just a beautiful
Mm,
race of people. Yeah, I think you'll love it.
So
Hmm.
we are hearing a
yeah.
Thank
lot of
you for
stories
that
of
add-on.
over
Is that
tourism,
Mo?
but
That's cool. No problem.
there's also
Yeah.
a lot of stories of like small towns and some of the places that Mark visits where they're using tourism as a means of keeping their tradition and their local
Yes.
culture alive. And that's exactly what they're doing here. So when you're traveling with Mark, you're helping these communities to stay
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah, because
Absolutely. Yeah. Sorry.
they're all family orientated. Like that, the pottery that the father and
Mhm.
his son in the pottery shed there, they probably go back generations, the same
Oh,
family doing the same thing. Um,
Absolutely. And the patterns, they just have these little lines. So they're famous for ontayaki is just has lines. And I said to the older man, I said, "Oh, have you ever just wanted to draw like an animal or something on there?" And he looked at me and just said, "Why?" And then like my job in life is to draw lines on pottery. And that was it. But I mean, it's so beautiful, the pottery. So definitely you'll have to stock
yeah.
up when you go there.
hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey Mo,
Awesome.
I'm actually going to read that book. I'm going to look into it. Thank you so much. It looks really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll love it. I couldn't put it, I haven't been able to put it down. I'm nearly finished it now.
Hmm. I
Mm.
might go and buy it now.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Um, Finding your ikigai.
yes.
And it's like the saying, um, it's a brand new day. Let's be happy. That's how they wake up
Yeah.
every single day.
Nah, cute. I hope
Mm.
I get on a tour that you're on. You sound like good fun. Good attitude.
All
Have
right.
you done any tours with us before?
No, I haven't. I've only
Oh,
just recently found you. Well, yeah, you
okay.
popped on out under my radar,
Yeah.
and so I've
Oh,
been
cool.
checking you out and joined up. Yeah.
Oh, well done. Okay.
Mm.
All right. Well, you sound like a great person. Thank you for your input. Is there any other
No,
questions? Anybody?
thank you.
I would like to give you some feedback.
Oh, cool.
Yes, please.
I'd like to say I forgot it was on, I'm sorry, and I joined in for the last half. I have booked my next tour with Life's an Adventure for October in Tasmania. I've already done one in Tasmania, so I highly recommend the company if no one's
Thank you.
travelled with Life's an Adventure before. I used to live in Shikoku in Japan, in 1991,
Oh,
and I visited Beppu and Asasan and Fukuoka for New Year's Eve, 1991. It was
Oh,
unbelievable,
wow.
Oh,
so
wow.
which spiked my interest for this tour. And so, yes, I will definitely be booking, not October, because I'm already doing the other one, but I will reiterate like you just said, it's sun touristy, and Shikoku and Kyushu in Japan were the
Yeah,
most beautiful places I'd visited at a time I was traveling around the
yeah.
world in my
Cool.
20s. And
Yeah,
I just can't, I'm looking at these photos, and you're saying these names of these. No, I've been there, I've been there, I've been there. So
yeah.
um,
Oh,
the tour
thanks,
sounds
Lynette.
fantastic. So I just wanted to give you that feedback and praise you.
Oh,
And
thank you
Lynette,
so
can you
much.
remember the people? Because that's something that,
I lived in a village that spoke, I was there teaching English, so I had to learn Japanese to communicate. The people were amazing, and I actually
mm,
went to Kyushu with a Japanese friend I made. I remember massive queues on New Year's Eve to get to the temples and things. So I remember huge queues because I was there over public holidays. So don't travel in Japan on public holidays. That's a recommendation. But
Yeah, Golden Week.
the people were amazing.
yeah.
Mm.
And the experiences I had, I learnt to, make the Japanese sweets, the pounding the rice, and the going into temples and things like that. It was just incredible. And what I loved about those two places is uh, I was of interest to them because there weren't many foreigners around in those days. And I used to drive around. I had my own car. There was no English signs or anything back in those days.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I had to
Wow.
Mm.
recognize the kanji for train station or a bank,
Huh.
and that's how I got around. So I didn't speak Japanese. I learned
Wow.
Japanese,
Yeah,
but
no
more at
mobile
very
phones.
basic. No mobile phones, no,
Yeah, no
no Safari,
GPS.
no nothing. So,
Yeah,
and I've just returned from a quick holiday in Japan, and people just said, "Did you drive around Shikoku?" I go, "Well, yeah, that's what you did." And
yeah,
it's probably now 40 years later that I realized that what I did was actually quite an amazing thing. But at the time, it
yeah.
was
Yeah,
just,
not many
Just
I was in
Australians
my
do.
20s. Who
Yeah.
cares?
well done.
There you go. So well done.
Oh, thanks,
Well,
Lynette.
thank
Thank you
you.
for sharing your
Your job just
experiences.
employed me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'll send you an email about that.
Okay, no problem.
But
Thanks.
yeah, but hey guys, I don't think it's changed much. Like we didn't see many. Yeah, we didn't see many tourists. The people are very genuine. I'm just looking through my staff. I think the staff. I'm really proud of the staff that we have on our tours. They are one is a host and they speak fluent Japanese and English. The other guide sometimes, or the bus driver doesn't speak any Japanese, but I'm just looking. We do have a Japanese guide that's on here, but he is the guide that takes all the monks. He sings, adds just so much flavour. But the great thing is we've got exceptional staff in Japan, and they're just so passionate about their country. I think it's a great tour. The other thing I added is we do have one or two guides on every tour, and then we have a bus driver as well. So you're very spoilt with, we're able to have flexible walking options. We can, do the 8, and then other people can do the 4, add on the 4. One guide goes with the people that decide to go early. So we've got all that flexibility with a bus. That's what we are quite expensive as well in if you look at us, but quality wise, you've got all that staff and you've got all that flexibility to be able to walk and amend your walks and
It's
do
still
lots
great
of different.
value in terms of the experience.
Is
And
it?
I think
Yeah,
that's what most Australians are looking for. So maybe it is
yeah.
high end,
Oh,
but like you said, you've got that
hmm,
amazing support network that you're not
thank
getting on
you.
some of the
I,
other tours. And so
yeah,
even if you're a little bit nervous about, can I do it? Can I walk that far? You don't have to be because you know that you'll be looked after.
yeah. Yeah, I suppose, look, at the end of the day, when we plan these tours, you're never going to go back there again. I want you to stay at the best at
mm,
Com, have the best experience, and
mm.
and do it really, really well. So you come back again and again. Anyway,
Yeah.
thanks so much,
Okay.
everybody. I think, yeah, is that all the questions that people had?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, lovely to meet you all. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for your time.
Oh, you're
You've
welcome.
really
It's
added
great to be
some
here.
passion and some other insights to the area.
The last time I was in the Kunisaki Peninsula, it was pouring with rain. I think it was in December. So I wasn't as lucky as this group, but it's definitely on my list to get back and do some more hiking there.
Yeah,
Loved
it's
it.
beautiful.
Mhm.
I just wanted to say a big thank you to Daisy. She's been monitoring. Here's
Hi,
Daisy as
Thanks,
well.
Daisy.
Yeah.
All good.
So thanks, team, for producing this webinar, and thanks so much, everybody, for coming along. Hope we'll send you a follow-up email. Please
Yeah,
feel
thanks.
free to ask any other questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and really, from the bottom of our heart, thank you so much for supporting us. And I truly think this is an incredible part of Japan. It's my favourite part of all of Japan. The walk is just amazing. You won't be disappointed. I think it's a great tour.
Mm.
Thanks so much for everybody attending.
Thanks, Matt, for
Okay.
organizing, having
Thank
me
you.
join you.
Thank
Bye,
you.